He had always known fear, but nothing could prepare him for this moment. Standing before her throne, her presence was overwhelming, the air vibrating with power and command. He had been entrusted with returning the sword after months of safekeeping. He thought it would be simple, a balance between respect and caution. But nothing could prepare him for what happened when he reached out to handle the sword. The moment he grasped the hilt, a pain like blazing light shot through his palm, coursing through every nerve and fiber. He gasped but did not let go. The blade was testing him, and he understood. He was not a fool. He held it steady despite the searing pain, and the sword responded with a subtle acknowledgement. Her warriors froze. Their hands went to their weapons, but they hesitated, as if the air itself was warning them. Their eyes widened, and instantly, one by one, they dropped their blades and shields, stepping back and then turning to flee the chamber in terror. He could feel the sword's thermal power licking his hand like fire, but he also sensed connection. Power was being shared, not taken. The queen said nothing for a moment, but her gaze was command and judgment combined. He could hear his own heartbeat thundering in his chest. Then her spoken words rang through the silence, sharp and clear. "You are not a fool." He knelt, tightening his grip on the blade, his arm shaking from the burn. Her warriors watched hesitantly, not moving out of fear and awe. The queen stepped forward, graceful yet formidable as storm winds. The blade burned less now, and the heat was alive but not dangerous. He felt the connection deep within. His soul recognized its acknowledgement. He was chosen, not for the strongest muscles, nor for the fastest reflexes, but for humility, courage, and calm in the storm. Her hand brushed over his palm, and the pain subsided to a warmth like heartbeats in rhythm. Now he was no longer just the returner of weapons. He was a participant in the test. He was recognized. Her warriors stood in awe, wide-eyed respect in their glances. They had fled at first, fear and uncertainty dominating their souls, but now they witnessed him holding power without being consumed. They lowered their weapons without being ordered. Not fear, but respect was their guide. The queen gestured for him to follow. He walked behind her through corridors carved from ancient stone, etched with wars and legends of forgotten kings. The air vibrated with magic. He could feel pulse like wind through metal and stone. The queen stopped in the central hall, columns rising like giant trees. Here, power was concentrated, past and present intertwined. Her hand rested briefly on his shoulder like an anchor, and then she pulled away. He felt the warmth linger. The warriors watched, still carefully but with less fear. Every step he felt the HFY inside him rising. Courage, wisdom, humility, and strength combined in a way he understood was essential for the future. They stopped at the courtyard. The queen turned and looked at him. Her eyes gazed into deep truths. He understood now that humanity was measured not by size or strength, but by courage, wisdom, and the respect to survive and understand forces beyond comprehension. The blade in hand was more than a weapon. It was a test of spirit, of character, of the heart. He placed it back on the pedestal carefully. The pain was gone, but the sense of connection remained. He had touched power and not been destroyed. He had passed a test of judgment, courage, and resilience. The burn in his hand would remain as a constant reminder of that test, of that connection. He had learned humans could reach beyond flesh, beyond limits, and earn respect. He was ready for the challenges beyond. He had proven that humanity, HFY, was about courage, wisdom, and honor. In this chamber, with the queen and warriors around him, he understood the true meaning of strength and trust. The queen placed her hand lightly on his shoulder for a moment, like an acknowledgement. He was changed but not consumed. He had walked into fire and emerged whole and respected. He had been tested by blade, by queen, by her warriors, and stood. He had been touched by power and had survived. He had become living proof that humans could act with wisdom and humility, even when faced with forces beyond comprehension. The moment would remain forever as a testament to human fortitude. HFY, in its purest form. He had touched the blade and held it and not been destroyed. Her warriors, no longer fearful, watched and learned. He had walked with the queen and stood with them as proof that humans could meet forces beyond mortals and stand unbroken. He had earned respect. He had earned acknowledgement. He had proven HFY was not just bravery with weapons but bravery of heart, mind, and spirit. The burn would linger, but so would pride, knowledge, and proof. That moment would change them all forever. He had returned the sword and had been transformed. He had faced power and not fallen. He had stood and proved that humanity was worthy. Her warriors dropped weapons and fled in terror, not from violence, but from the acknowledgement that power could be faced by one human and that HFY could triumph over fear. And he stood there, transformed, recognized, proven, unbroken.